call the meeting to order. Hooray.
Right.
All right, this is the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. So I'm the deputy supervisor, Nathan LaVirtue. Wendy was unable to attend tonight's meeting and oversee it, so I am doing that duty in her stead. We would like to dedicate this meeting to Frank Weber Jr., aka Buddy. I think as we noted in the December meeting, Buddy resigned from this position for his own reasons, and we wanted to dedicate this meeting to him and his family for the service that he's provided to the community in Stanford Town. Sure. Marie, roll call.
Okay, roll call. Sorry.
Here.
Frank Pepe, absent. Ann Aaron,
Here.
Nathan LaVirtue,
Here.
Wendy Burton.
Town board liaison reports. Anyone want to start?
Sure. Of course, I'm realizing I left my notes home, but I can tell you I had 2 meetings for ZBA due to dates. Last night, there were 2 new applications for variances. Both were told to come back next month for public hearing. I know they also went into an executive session to discuss adding a new member to the committee. They had 3 people the month prior apply for that, apply to be a part of it. So at the time, those 3 people introduced themselves to the board, told them about themselves, etc. And at that meeting, there were 2 public hearings that were the variances.
That meeting always at 7:30.
Yes.
I was ready to close up last night. I was like, then people started showing up. But.
Yeah.
Margaret?
We did have a meeting of the CAC. That was very tough because it was a few days after our beloved chair, Gary Lovett, had passed away. But they really wanted to meet to talk about Gary, but also because Gary had just the day before he died, had sent out an email, very inspirational email about all the great things that we were going to do. So even though a lot of tears were shed, we also did some work about what would the yearly plan be, working on our climate smart task force here in Stanfordville to achieve our bronze certification. And then also discussion, Gary, among all the other amazing things he did for the town, he had recently won a pretty significant grant to be used to do a natural resource inventory, which we've never done it before, we've never had the money. And there was talk about how to continue the work now that he's gone. So that was for me.
Thank you. I will report on from the rec committee. There is an individual that will be resigning. So Wendy will be offering an announcement to fill a vacancy on that commission, so they're fully in. There are some updates regarding some of the trees, whether they may be sprayed, which I discussed before, but there's still, that's a kind of wait and see until May or June to see if we can actually do it because of the spongy moths. Update about some of the winter programs, they've been running really well. Let's see. I'll give a small update on the. I think I can disclose this. Is that the grant application, which was rejected or denied for the playground, which by and large was anticipated, but it's still frustrating nonetheless. So there's going to be some research done there to see if there's other ways to fundraise and to populate the money for the playground, but they're still moving forward. There was an update on the dock bid. It's kind of monotonous, but Lauren found out that she had to pull it because the county had to have some oversight into it. And they looked at it and they unchanged everything about it.
Oh.
So but it took them 2 months to review it. So they reviewed it and they said, yeah, this is fine.
The
And
actual
so-
plan of?
No, the bid.
The bid.
So the
Okay.
bid process has now been delayed an enormous amount of time, and it is frustrating because it was unchanged. And so now it was supposed to happen on a specific date to allow it to happen. So now there's a question mark on whether the docks will actually be changed in time for the summer. It may not be until September at this point. They're also looking and exploring at some things to do for Valentine's Day. And no updates from the transfer station. And in lieu of Wendy not being here and not having material, we're going to skip the supervisor reports and financials. Does not provide that material. So then we will move to privilege of the floor. And if anyone would like to speak, just come up, state your name and address. So no. All right, so I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So the first item is the alarm law, and I think, Bob, I'm handing this primarily to you.
Okay.
As far as.
All right, so this is a resolution that was initially requested by the fire department to adjust fines and due to the number of false alarms that were being received. This was initially introduced and then there were some amendments made, so then it was reintroduced in December, on December 8th. And it was, no, it was introduced on November 10th, beg your pardon. Public hearing was held on December 8th for the law. And now it comes before you for consideration
And it has been documented in November, December meetings, but essentially the core of this is modifying the law in a way that allows provisions for different charges or fees associated with
that was the main thing,
Right.
because of the large quantity of false alarms that come in and the concerns of the fire department for safety and responding to emergency calls and they find out that somebody burned their toast.
Or bagel. The other example we had.
So, and then there were a number of other small changes, correcting some inconsistencies.
So I make a motion to pass the resolution.
A second?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And Doreen, could you also make sure that the building inspector gets a hard copy? Because part of the law says that if if they have a false alarm, that the building inspector is the enforcement agent.
So the next item is,
Yes.
so the next item is relatively procedural. It's just a motion to accept the proposal from Superior Telephone. It is for an NEC SB 9100 system migration upgrade. We will have a resolution to accommodate, should this pass, next month on how to pay this in the amount of $5,924.87. So the background is there's a telephone system that we have here, voicemail and whatnot, that is dated, to say the least. So it was looked at as far as what is the most cost-effective and useful way to remedy that situation. Looking at voice over IP, otherwise known as using internet for voice, was expensive. And so it just made sense to repair the system, which is still costly, but so we'll make a motion to accept the proposal.
Motion. And all in favor?
Aye.
Next item. This is a motion to amend the PTO policy. This is in regards to the amount of paid leave that is allowable under conditions around work completed. So if 61 to 180 days are unworked, half of the days the employee was originally granted will be allowed for paid leave. If they are absent or away from work in various capacities for over 180 days, there will be no paid leave. And so that's an amendment that we're adding to the policy. So I make a motion to.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to, resolution Lang to accept it, to consolidate the rec capital fund account at the Millbrook Bank, account ending in 9268 into the general fund ending in 0018. This is moving funds of $1,947.27 from the capital fund campaign to the general fund campaign.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Wendy always gets backstories. We'll do backstories for these two.
Sure.
Well, this one I know. So there was an audit done on some of the energy usage by the town through the buildings and various departments, and one of the things that was illuminated, pun intended.
That's what he wanted to give the backstory. He's been saving that all day.
Workshopping
It's been a fun-filled day. There is efficiency that we can have in the lighting, both in our buildings and exterior structures, and specifically the lights in Bengal. So this is a resolution that I'm asking to pass to go into contract with Central Hudson to convert all of the streetlights in the works to LED bulbs. So this will be approximately $6,877.91. The funds will come from the ARP, the American Rescue Plan, and then it will be moved to all equipment appropriations, where the Central Hudson will conduct the services of replacing the placed LED.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just slow down. I make a motion to, this one I'm gonna have to read a bit, make a motion to pass Resolution 1C to modify the budget. I don't know if there's a copy of this, but there's a variety of funds that are being transferred from various accounts. That each of the descriptions are provided for what the increase and decrease is. This is effectively a way to balance and reconcile differences in budgets and calculations.
Oh, we have a copy. I think you
Yeah.
meant if anyone,
Yeah,
if anyone in the audience wanted to.
Well, I wasn't,
peruse it.
there's a lot to read, and it's just gonna be mouthful
Yeah.
over, so I don't know if it's valuable to anybody, but there is a copy of the distributions of funds.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And this is the last, that was the last of 2022, right?
Yes, this is the,
Final.
It's the expenditures adopted in 2022, just to balance that out. Anything that was exceeded the amounts that we had. Excuse me. I make a motion to approve the, or no, I don't need to make a motion. It's just an update, right? Yes.
No, for
Right, what is it?
abstracts, yeah, with
Yeah,
abstracts.
yeah. So I did a motion to approve the abstracts for January. First one is 1A of 2022, which is the close of last year. So from the general fund, there was $42,473.83. From the highway fund, there was $9,951.60. Then the other January abstracts are noted as 1B. Those are for the current year. General fund was $9,027.88. The highway fund was $8,625.33.
Did we make a motion?
That is-
Oh,
yeah,
you
I
did want
did,
to
yeah.
say make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Anna's gonna first it, and we'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
And do we have
And that's,
Yeah, I don't need them, I just want to make sure that we got the minutes from December. Yeah. All right, I make a motion for approval of the minutes from the December 8th meeting.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
This one's not fun. I make a motion to accept this letter, which I will read for public record. It is to Wendy, colleagues, and friends. The last 3 years serving on the town of Stanford Council has been a most wonderful honor. Under Wendy's leadership, we have made great progress which will continue and will have positive and permanent benefits for our wonderful town. I am proud to have been a part of this process. 4 years ago, when we began this journey together, none of us knew what life would have in store. This past year has taken quite a negative toll on my health and separately to that of my family members. I need a bit of rest and also time away to meet special family circumstances. It is with sadness and great respect for all of you that I must retire from my position on the town council effective January 31st, 2023. It has been a great pleasure to serve our town in the capacity of deputy supervisor and councilman, and I look forward to other opportunities to serve our community in the future. With deep regard, Frank Bebe.
Is
Motion to
there a second on
accept
that?
Second.
Is that-
Before we vote, I just want to take a moment to thank Frank. He is a neighbor, he's a friend, he's been a colleague on the board, he's a role model, he's a lot to me, so, I'm happy for him that he's, retiring and have more time with his family, but at the same time, very sad for us.
I would just echo Anne's remarks and just also to thank Frank for the just unbelievable number of hours, especially in the first year of our term when we were elected together, when we had a financial crisis and then we had COVID, and just the unlimited energy that he put into trying to help people in this town. So with a heavy heart as well.
Well, not to go out on a down note, the nice thing is that he's still going to be in the community. And
Well, of
he's
course.
going to be, well, and he'll be present and active at a different capacity. So we're still going to have the pleasure or displeasure, I guess, in some moments of Frank's presence and his joyful and bountiful laughter. So, but he will be missed here in our meetings for sure.
Okay, so Nathan
Great motion.
made
Yep.
the motion and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
So for other, we just have the one resolution, Resolution 1B. So this is authorizing a license to the Stanford Nursery School for temporary use of the town hall and the auditorium. So if you looked at the window, you might have seen that there are really short chairs. That's not for us to use. Do I need to read this in full? I can.
Well, no one's seen it until tonight. So
All right, I'll read it.
You can do it to first read
So at the
It's
meeting,
short.
yeah, sounds good. At the meeting of the town board of the town of Stanford, held at the town of Stanford Hall on the 12th of January 2023 at 7:25-ish. Councilperson Nathan LaBerge called the meeting to order, and he's seconded by Councilperson X. We're even back to it. Move the following resolution, whereas the Stanford Nursery School is in need of a space to temporarily locate its nursery school, which serves families in the town of Stanford until the end of the current school year in June of 2023. And whereas the town hall auditorium is available during the time that the Stanford Nursery School needs space to operate the nursery school from now until the end of June of 2023. And whereas the town board has determined that it would be in the best interest of the town to provide a license to allow the Stanford Nursery School to use the auditorium in the town hall for its nursery school until the end of June of 2023. And whereas the issuance of a license to allow the use of the auditorium in the town hall on a temporary basis is a type 2 action under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act and therefore is exempt from environmental review. And now therefore be it resolved that the town board hereby authorize the issuance of a temporary license to the Stanford Nursery School to allow the use of the auditorium located in the town of Stanford, Town Hall at 26 Town Hall Road between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. for the purpose of operating its nursery school in exchange for a license fee in the amount of $500 per month, and pursuant to such other terms and conditions contained in the written license agreement in the form acceptable to the town attorney. And be it further resolved that the town board hereby authorizes the town supervisor to sign the license agreement in the form acceptable to the town attorney and any and all other documents necessary to effectuate the license agreement with the Stanford Nursery School.
Would you like a roll call?
Yeah.
Wendy Burton, absent. Frank Pepe, absent. Dan Herron,
Yes.
Margaret Fallon. Yes. Nathan Laberge.
Yes. We have no other. So we are at, very quickly, the second privilege of the floor.
Jane Cottrell, 5951 Route 82. I just wanted to ask the secretary for a couple of clarifications. What was the amount in item 5 for the street light replacement?
I think it was 5,900.
I'll just go on the record with this, and if I'm wrong, that doesn't matter. But if I'm right, then we've made a place marker.
What I believe I heard is $6,877.91.
Thank you, Doreen.
Correct.
I think it's incorrect.
Okay.
I think it might be closer to 15K, and I'll leave it to Mr. Butts, how to fix that if it turns out that my memory is accurate.
I thought that there was a discount.
Yeah, it's from 16-something to 15-something.
Okay,
And
because we
I'm-
have it was
Yeah.
from 8,500 was the original, and then the discounted price was 6,800.
Something has clearly transpired here that I
Okay.
missed.
I-
Adjusted the whole thing by about 50%.
Well,
Yeah.
I think what might have happened here, I'm looking at it, is we may need to actually look at how this is written, because I think that the bottom half of the document is actually talking about moving two different funds amount of that value.
Yeah.
And I think that that total is probably what you were saying. And so what happened was is that the total here was not recognized. And so there needs to be that it's actually the movement of two different funds to that location.
I'm just remembering it from the contract, and hopefully I'm remembering it wrong, in which case I apologize for taking up your
But I
time.
thought all of it was supposed to be covered.
Well,
That's what I'm.
it looks like it is, but some of it's under this category.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
All right, thank you. We'll
So
clarify that.
we'll need to, I guess, rescind
The other
that
clarification
resolution.
I wonder if I could
Until
get
we
is the effective
verify.
date of Frank Pepe's resignation.
January 31st.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane.
I think that you could either amend the resolution to be an amount not to exceed whatever the figure, whatever the maximum amount might be, or the resolution could be corrected at the next meeting.
Since we're already
Yeah,
here.
I was gonna say, does it hold us up, but I mean, I
Yeah.
sort of feel like it's probably better for us just to have it
Amend it, or no?
Amend it, well, amend it with, to say not to exceed,
The-
rather than,
Jane, does the amount of $13,755.82 sound more accurate?
Closer.
So
Um,
Wendy's message said to us said the price dropped dramatically because the cost of removing the arms had been removed.
This then could be the explanation, because the bit about the dramatic drop in price, just not known to me.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Did that happen today, Margaret?
No, this is Tuesday. The email she sent us about the dramatic drop in
Okay.
price was Tuesday at 10:16.
You'll not say.
So should we amend it to say no more than 15,000?
yeah,
Make a motion.
yeah, I'll make a motion to amend resolution 1B to modify the one-time fee in paragraph 5 to not exceed the amount of $15,000.
Second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone else for the privilege of the floor?
Hi, my name is Kelly Burdick. I live at 19 Burdick Way across the street. That way? So I kind of grew up tangentially around the town. My grandparents lived here, family lived here. I didn't live here. But starting this past June, I started living here. And I've been trying to figure out what's happening in town. And so I've been coming to meetings as frequently as I can, various ones. And I found there's this like gorgeous shorthand among the council that is a testament to how like nicely you work together. But there are like first name basis and acronyms and initialisms that come up a lot. And if you're new, you just like, I assume the ZBA has something to do with zoning because it's the
Yeah,
only thing I
zoning
can
board
come
of
up with
appeals,
Z.
yeah.
I still don't know what the CAC is. And when I've come to meetings, I've made like a list of questions and then I'll go back and figure them out, but then I don't remember the content of the report, and I just would humbly ask to be a little more thoughtful about when something comes up for the first time in a meeting, to maybe the full name or people's last names when they're being mentioned. That would be helpful for newish or renew residents to kind of jump in and be able to participate.
I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We are definitely very comfortable in our,
Yeah.
don't think about, so thank
I
you.
love that. And also,
No, but thank you for
They
drawing our,
contextualize it.
yeah, that's very helpful.
There's a story there, but I'll skip it for another time. No.
Okay.
Anyone else for privilege of the floor? So I make a motion to,
Leave public session.
leave the public session and go into executive session.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. And we will not be doing business with you now.
Yeah. Other than closing meeting.
Don't leave me.
All set?
So,
Right, make a motion to close the executive session and reopen the public session.
Second. All in favor?
There was no action taken in the executive session.
I make a motion. You
No,
would
no,
like
no,
to make-
you do it.
I would like to make a motion to close our public session.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What do you think about it?
Thank you.
Thank you.